Welcome back to Digital Cash Evolution right here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we're going to talk about just what's going on in cryptocurrencies. And if you have any questions, definitely give us a call at 602-277-KFNX, and we'd be glad to answer any of your questions. And be sure to come out tonight by 7 p.m. at the Classic Crust Pizza at Cave Creek. And what's the name of that street?
Cactus.
Cave Creek and Cactus Road.
Cave Creek and Cactus Road, and we'll be out there to help you set up a wallet, give you some cryptocurrency, help you buy a beer with that crypto. And what do you say, Doug? You want to talk about some of the crazy stuff that goes in the news? How many times has Bitcoin died or cryptocurrency has died? The market crashed. All of these fear-mongering things. When this is really kind of a best time to look at purchasing cryptocurrencies or get into them. Don't mortgage your house or anything like that. But what do you think about that, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, I always point out that Bitcoin doesn't break the rules of investing, and a lot of the time I actually try to shy away from using the terms investing and speculating when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I
agree with that,
and I know Danny, you did too. We got into this for the philosophy of it, and the price is going to be volatile. That's a factor of the space, and you'll see it more as you get involved. And but if you focus on learning,
once I figured out that you can't infinitely cut the piece of pie and get more pieces of pie. Like if I buy a pizza, a Classic Crust Pizza, and I buy 10 slices, but I want to cut it into 12, they're actually smaller. I don't get 2 new pieces, and that's kind of what we're getting from the Federal Reserve. Is they get to just infinitely slice our money, and if you don't notice that every time you go to the grocery store, you better check your meds.
And Xander had some thoughts.
The longer they keep that invisible to the public, the longer people will not understand what's happening to their money.
You talked about this earlier when we were talking about identities. The idea of blockchain is so much more than just a currency. It's more than a commodity. It's a first time we've had unique information that can't be duplicated. I mean, there's value in that data alone, and it can be used on so many different levels. So we keep coming back to it being currency, but it really is something that's revolutionizing the entire world. It's going to be the lifeblood of the digital age in the coming future here. I mean, the idea that you can, accounting firms, law firms, birth certificates, titles, whatever you want, can be stored on the blockchain. It's immutable. It's there forever, and it holds a value. So there's so much more that this stuff can do.
It'd be like saying
to friends about. Oh, go ahead, Doug.
It would be like saying the internet is just email, right? So email is only one application of the internet, and we now know, so many other tools have been built on top of the internet, and so. Continue. Chuck, go ahead with your thought.
Yeah, I was just going to say, back to investing, I tell friends that I'm close to when they're talking about cryptocurrency as an investment, I say, well, it's if you're looking at it as an investment, you have to kind of ask yourself, well, what are you looking for a return on with this investment? Are you asking for dollars back? Because in my opinion, this is such a fundamental change that I don't want the dollars anymore. I'm trying to exit from that system and enter into this new system. Risky as it is, this is what's coming. This is the new system, and that's just kind of, it seems fundamental to me at this point. The way that the internet has changed our reality, so too shall cryptocurrency. We're only in the 1 to 3% adoption range. It's going to be a little bit before we see the significant changes that are to come.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. Another customer experience I had this week too was one I've had before, and many of us have had in just conversations. I was doing a Bitcoin trade, and the lady said, "Is it true?" She was very new as well. She said, "Is it true that Bitcoin can be used to launder money and do illegal things?" And we laugh at it because we know the how ridiculous a statement like that is.
I almost don't believe that somebody actually asked you.
But no, but she asked me that straight out, and she barely knew anything about Bitcoin, and I just kind of went into my normal kind of rebuttal to that is, criminals, when they're running away from policemen, are wearing shoes, and they can run a lot faster because they have shoes on. So shoes are just a tool. Should we place blame on the fact that criminals are wearing shoes? So it's kind of takes a ridiculous kind of anecdote like that to illustrate, how ridiculous the idea that Bitcoin.
Well, not just that. I mean, that's the last thing let me see. I'm going to commit a crime. Let me go ahead and put the evidence somewhere where I can never erase it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I would use cash if I was going to launder.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I answer
And
with
banks.
is cash is used so much, more widely used as a laundering mechanism or any criminal activity than anything else in the world.
Just test a $100 bill. There's probably cocaine on it.
Yeah. Bitcoin has a trackable history. Yeah, a $100 bill is much more suited for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example is the Silk Road and all the other sites that they've taken down. Those people were caught because there was a trail. There are ways to anonymize yourself with cryptocurrencies if you take extra measures, but it's not really a good idea to go around committing crimes and putting it on the blockchain.
Yeah, and besides, the benefit that it can bring to society so far outweighs, the small percentage of people that are doing bad things with it. We know there's illegal activity on the internet. People use the internet for facilitating illegal things all the time. But we know the benefit to society as a whole so vastly outweighs that small percentage of people doing nefarious things.
You guys are right. You can easily apply this argument to any ubiquitous thing. You don't punish people for breathing air, even though they might yell horrible things in your face after they've inhaled it, right? Like, these are choices that individual people make.
Right.
Exactly.
The pencil doesn't make the error.
I mean, just what we've done. We talked to Connie in the second segment, and personally, I've done a lot of the very same things that she was talking about with Dash. Dash sponsors us to go around and do this stuff. And, like I was talking about, we darted into a hurricane to help people out who had just lost their homes. There were people who did the very same thing in Florida. We actually organized that for a guy who was part of the Libertarian Party who actually helped people for Hurricane Maria. They're doing it right now in Puerto Rico. People are still helping there. I'm building houses in Mexico. I'm rebuilding a senior citizen center. These are things that we do with cryptocurrency. So we're not trying to launder money. We're actually trying to prove our use case of what this is. And the best use case is for you to come out tonight to Cost Pizza and get you some beer with some cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and we also do. Phoenix Crypto is my company. We also do one-on-one consultations too. So if you want to do something more formal or something longer, or of course you're more than welcome to come down for the classic crust and informal. But if you have a very specific use case, you're struggling with your wallet, or you have an exchange account where they've locked up your money. I had that happen this week, and she's not going to get her money, which is very unlikely to get her money back because she was holding it on an exchange. And so we can sit down with you and help you with some of the more complex issue too, as well as just kind of the intro questions.
Right, yeah, because I think you'll also hear people trying to tell you not to use an exchange, that they will handle that process for you. Come to them, pay a fee. That's not a good idea. I mean, if you don't know how to log on to an exchange, you probably don't need to be investing on that level with cryptocurrencies yet anyway.
Right.
Go ahead and start out with the pizza and the beer.
Yeah, come to us, and we'll give you best security practices, best practices in general. Had this woman come to us first. I could have pointed her away from Coinbase, where they've locked up her money essentially, and so you can learn a lot about the best practices just by talking with people and us and other people in the industry, and that's what's great about Classic Crust too. I'm not the only one there. The owner knows all about crypto, and about half the patrons there on most days are crypto enthusiasts. So it's a fun discussion almost every day.
I'm glad you guys are out there doing that.
Awesome.